And so at this moment, I am broadcasting. So anybody that needs to go in the Zoom room, they can go in now. I hope everybody can hear me well, and welcome to my guests that are attending live. Charlene, welcome. I can see that you are in. If you can hear me, can you actually text me that I have my sound on and that you are listening to me? If you're able to write on the chat that you can hear me, I would really appreciate it so I know that I'm live with sound. So I would really appreciate if you can write a chat and tell me if you're listening. And I think I'm live on Facebook and my sound should be okay. So I will start. My name is Claudia and I'm broadcasting tonight from Montreal. And Montreal is a beautiful city in Canada. I am actually in Canada. I live in Toronto, so most of the videos that you guys have watched have been from Toronto. But today I'm at the lobby of my floor in a hotel. So if you guys hear any people coming in and out of the elevator, this is the beauty of my business, that I can hold these amazing webinars that I love to hold for you from anywhere. So after I finish this webinar, I'm going to go to the Jazz Festival with my 6-year-old son, who's waiting for me in the room with my friend, and we will have some fun. But today we're going to have fun right now talking to you about superfoods. So everybody that knows me a little bit knows that my engine is Mateo. Mateo is my 6-year-old, and that is one of the reasons why I actually started changing my lifestyle. I wanted to be the mom that is active, the mom that can move, the mom that doesn't have pain, especially chronic pain, and I want to get to live as long as I can to enjoy this child. And so that's why I changed my eating habits. Everything that I tell you today has been just by experience. Anything that I talk to you today, you can just research it, Google it. That's all I do, put some things for you together, and a lot of people have been liking what I have been doing. So thank you to Synduit, which is my program that helps me do the PowerPoint and everything. And now I'm going to start. I'm going to show you guys this presentation. And let me find it. So I hope everybody's listening. To those of you that are live, thank you very much for attending and attending on time. Thank you for waiting for me while I was getting everything prepared. And I think that everybody can see my screen now. And I'm hoping that everything is working out for everyone. And I'm just reaching my webinar. So I always like to start by showing you guys my screensaver. Like I said, this is the reason why I do what I do. I was a fit person. I could call it a fit person. I used to go to the gym a lot, but my diet was very unhealthy. I gained weight because I started eating everything that I wanted, everything I could, stopped exercising. It was not very good on my joints. I had a lot of knee pain. I had a lot of just chronic pain in different parts of my body. And that's when I decided actually that I needed to make a drastic change in my life. And the change started with proper nutrition and supplementation. So what we're going to talk about today is superfoods. We have been doing a series, and if you have actually watched the series, we've talked about decreasing sugar, we have talked about an anti-inflammatory diet, and today we're going with superfoods. My disclaimer for today, as you know, everything and anything that I say in this video is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any disease. I am not a nutritionist or a health professional. I am studying nutrition, but that's just part of something that I've been doing on my own. So if you are going to make any radical changes like cleansing and detoxing or any drastic changes in your diet, please check with your doctor first. Sugar levels, cholesterol levels, any of those levels can actually change very drastically in your body. Blood pressure, lots of things can change. So I do recommend that always before any drastic change, you actually go to your doctor, get everything that you need, and that we have the proper advice. My disclaimer for the presentation is that it's done by Synduit, which I am a member of. And let's start. Superfoods. So this is a very popular word right now, but what is a superfood? Superfood Can be many things. And then everybody actually just thinks that it's, all kinds of vegetables or all kinds of healthy food, but which ones are really superfoods? It's really defined very easy. It's a nutrition-dense, low-calorie food. It can be a vegetable, it can be a type of rice, it can be many things, but the important part is that it has to be nutrition dense and low calorie. So what's nutrition dense? Nutrition dense, it has to have protein, it has to have fiber, it has to have vitamins, something that is actually good for your body. And so if it's nutrition dense and if it's low calorie, we can just put it in that basket called superfood. So the other thing that we can do to spot a superfood is what it doesn't have. So it doesn't have any added sugar, it doesn't have any artificial ingredients, and it doesn't have any harmful toxins, obviously, because that's what we're trying to get rid of out of our body and not in our body. So what are everyday superfoods? Everyday superfoods, again, how do we spot them? How do we buy them? How do we get them? Everybody wants to be in superfoods and we don't really know how to buy them. What you want to do is you want to find foods that are they have nutrient density and nutrient diversity. So nutrient density means, for example, one vegetable that has a lot of nutrients in it. Now, nutrient diversity is a lot of these in your plate. So you can have, a different plate full of different vegetables and fruits and some of the things that I will say today. And so that will be a meal that is that has nutrient diversity. And nutrient density, it can be one vegetable that has a lot of the things that we're going to talk about. So let's start with kale. This one was a new one for me. I started eating kale about maybe 4 years ago. This, as many that have already eaten kale, is an acquired taste. A lot of people, they get some gas. It is a little bit heavy on them, but this, I think, has to do a lot with the way that you have been eating, because things like broccoli or cauliflower can give gas to the same people that actually have kale. And what I think is actually you should start very slow with kale. Kale has a strong taste, but kale is one of they call it the king of superfoods because it has the richest antioxidant content of any fruit and any vegetable. So just by saying that, and we're going to talk about actually antioxidants because we talk a lot about antioxidants, but people don't know what an antioxidant is. So the other thing that kale has is very high in fiber, calcium, iron, and it's so high in vitamin A and vitamin K that the levels are just, above what you need. So vitamin K, which is so needed, it has over 900% of the daily needs. That's how good kale is. In 1 cup, it's actually only 36 calories. So things that you can do with kale, salads, you know what? My mom actually makes a delicious lentil soup and she just puts some kale in it. She actually puts cilantro sometimes on her soups too. So it's just going to be very flavorful. And again, I just put it on my smoothies. You can just bake it to make kale chips. They're very popular now, and you can salt them with marine salt. So just for that, we're going to give that one the king of superfoods. What else was I going to tell you about kale? Again, start slow. If you're using it in smoothies, it should actually be just a little bit to start because it's just going to give the whole taste to that smoothie. So I would recommend start slow. Again, with salads, don't do a kale salad if you haven't started your nutrition with kale. Do a lettuce or a spinach salad. Add some kale to it and just chop it up finely and start getting used to it. And you can put some berries like you see in the salad, maybe some quinoa or some goat cheese or something that you like a lot, and it's going to cut a little bit through that taste. But kale is absolutely the king of superfoods. What about nuts? Nuts, oh my gosh, nuts are amazing, and there's so many of them. Now, one thing that people always say about nuts is they are expensive. Well, it's not that they're really expensive, it's that you're not supposed to eat a lot of them. So if you watch my video on portion control and you saw that it was like such a small amount of nuts that you should actually be eating if you're trying to, curb your appetite or you're using it for health reasons, you cannot eat so much because it's actually going to not help you lose weight, but gain weight. So go to my video on portion control if you want to see how many nuts you actually should be eating per day. And that's why it's not supposed to be expensive, because you just eat so little of them, and they're nutrient dense. So that you're going to get very full by eating them, but just eat them slow. Nuts are rich in fiber, unsaturated fats, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and a whole list of things. And so which nuts to buy, that really depends on the flavor. Now, do not buy them salted. They have to be unsalted, because if not, you're like just not doing the right thing to your body, because we're trying to get healthier, and salt really is not one of the things that you want to put in your body. Some of the things that have been said about nuts: they lower cholesterol, they lower blood pressure. Again, I don't want to take forever on this video, but nuts have so many nutrients. So go nuts for nutrition. Quinoa, the power grain. I don't know if you guys have tried quinoa, but they are so delicious. Quinoa is my substitute, my favorite substitute for rice. There's black quinoa, red quinoa, white quinoa. You can mix them. You can actually start by mixing your quinoa in your rice, because again, everything is an acquired taste. A lot of people it'll just taste a little odd to them if you haven't tried it. It's prepared the same way that you actually prepare your rice. And again, last week I did a video that was called Run Away from the 5 Whites, and I gave you or showed you 2 recipes with quinoa. One was with mint and nutmeg or walnut, I think it was, and the other one was just a vegetable quinoa, and it was just so delicious. Quinoa actually comes from Peru, so it's a South American food, and it was just so rich in so many things. What I learned about quinoa is that I'm not going to say the only one, because I don't want to say something that is not true. There could be other foods out there, but it is one of the foods that has all of the 9 essential amino acids. So when you're having in one meal 9 essential amino acids, that's a superfood. Now, the other thing that it has is that 1 cup of quinoa actually has 6 grams of fiber. And we know that in North America, we do not eat enough fiber. So this is a great way to get that fiber in you, 6 grams per cup, and gluten-free. So a lot of people that are running away from gluten, or just slowing down, or maybe even gluten sensitive, quinoa is a really good option to make delicious salads. You can make a lot of desserts, and you can just use it as a side dish. I'm going to attach some quinoa recipes on the bottom of the video, and so the video is going to be on YouTube after we finish. Maybe not, maybe it's going to be on YouTube on Monday, because I'm in Montreal right now and I just don't have the time to put it on YouTube tonight, but it will be there, and I'll add all the quinoa recipes. Now, if you are on Facebook or watching it from Facebook, I am going to be putting the recipes there, and there's about 7 recipes that I'm going to actually put in there, and you can just click and go to the recipe. And the other superfood I'm going to be attaching a lot of recipes of are beans, because beans, and I have never made chocolate bean cake, because this one I only read when I was preparing for this seminar. But you know what? You can make delicious lunch, dinner, and dessert with beans. Now, beans are a legume that is very high in protein. So a lot of people that are already, into high protein diets eat a lot of beans. You can have red beans, black beans, and I count in beans things like lentils, chickpeas. These are all grains, but I just count them as beans. Now, what is great about beans, besides all the great things that it has, like antioxidants, vitamins, minerals like zinc, iron, magnesium, potassium, it just has so many. And again, it would take me forever to go through the list. It's such a great superfood. But what is great about it is that it's very versatile. Now, what is versatile? Versatile means you can eat it hot, you can eat it cold. So if you have some canned goods and you can just mix them, you can do that. Now, I learned something interesting about canned goods. Maybe I shouldn't say it on this video. Yeah, I'm going to just go ahead and tell you. So I asked a very knowledgeable person, what is the difference between having it homemade from scratch, you put it in the water and leave it there for the night to soak, and then, or against eating it in a can. And it really is more about that. The cans they put the beans in there, and they actually put it in these very high temperature ovens to kill all the bacteria and everything that they need to kill. But the actual vitamins and minerals are still there in a very high level. So I thought that we would lose a lot of those vitamins and minerals when they were in a can. Actually, you don't really lose a lot of it. You lose a little bit of it. It's just that they're in a can because it's just easier for people to, buy them and sell them this way. So it's completely valid. You can actually have them from the can, not as as nutrient full, but very, very, very nutrient full, which means you can buy 3 or 4 cans of them, make a bean salad, and just add some cilantro. And like I said, I'm going to add the recipes because beans are so good, and there's so much that you can do with them. So again, I'm going to put some recipes, and then I'm going to add the recipe for the dessert. It's a chocolate bean dessert. Oh my gosh, when I read this recipe, I said, okay, because we're looking for ways to actually get, away from the unhealthy desserts and into the new era of superfood desserts. This one was one that I needed to attach. Berries, my goodness, berries are so popular right now. And depending on the country that you're in, my friend from Bogota, Maria Teresa, she's visiting me this summer. I'm with her here in Montreal. And the first thing she ran to was the grocery store because she comes from Colombia, and she says, I can't get blueberries and not cranberries, raspberries in Colombia. Inexpensive. They are very, very expensive. So I can't wait just to have a lot of them. And that's what happens, that sometimes we don't even value what we have. So, there's a lot of berries, blackberries, blueberries, elderberries. I count pomegranate, of course, as a berry. So berries, what happens with berries is that it's got the highest antioxidant, and especially blueberries, antioxidant level of any of the fruits. And so if you, and let's touch on what an antioxidant is right now so that we can, I keep repeating that all of our superfoods have antioxidants, but if you don't know, it's actually exactly that. Our body rusts, not really rusts, but let's just make an example of a car. So if you have a car and your car's getting very old and you work your car a lot, maybe you're out in the street a lot. I live in Canada, so the salt actually eats our cars away. If you're by the beach, it'll do the same, the marine salt. And so if you're in Florida or if you're in Canada, it's very easy to see rusted cars because the salt rusts the car away. So think of your body as a car, and think about it as a car that is actually rusting as you age. And so what you need to do is that if you need to stop, we have something called free radicals. And free radicals contained in a certain level, they're supposed to happen in our body. But as we age, or as we actually have different things like stress or very toxic cities, we start having a high toxicity, and we start having to not be able to produce the antioxidants the way that we need to balance the free radical that we're producing as well in our body, or that we're absorbing from other sources. So what you need to do is increase your antioxidants in your body. And the way that you increase your antioxidants, again, with many of the fruits that I've named, and blueberries specifically have the highest antioxidants of all the fruits, but like I said, kale has the actual highest antioxidants of all superfoods. So that was just a great example about watching your body rust slowly and how you can actually stop it, because who wants a rusted car and who wants a rusted body? It's going to fall apart. Trust me, your body is falling apart. You have the power to actually make that stop, but you need to eat better. Sunny side healthy. Okay, there's should I eat egg, or shouldn't I eat egg? This is one of the questions that I start getting as people start asking me more. Should I eat egg, or is it harmful? Well, this one I'm going to leave on you. I love egg, and everything I read about like free-run chicken eggs. So not the ones that are produced in mass, but they're very high in vitamin D. They have actually 20% of the daily intake of your vitamin D. And if you know, vitamin D is essential for living. If you feel tired and if you feel exhausted and if you feel you don't want to wake up in the morning and you live like me in Canada, which is one of the countries that doesn't get a lot of UV light, you need a lot of vitamin D. So they also have very high protein. So, they always said, Grandma, do not leave home without your egg for breakfast. And that's true, because if you want to have that protein that your body needs to, just wake up your mind and break up your brain and have everything that you need to start the day, or your children to start the day, an egg is going to do it. Now, it also has a very high content of lutein and zeaxanthin. Now, these two, lutein and zeaxanthin, have been actually linked, or not having enough of them have been linked to macular degeneration. How do I know that? Because my sister and my brother-in-law both suffer from macular degeneration. And so besides the supplements that they take, they also are very knowledgeable on how to slow down macular degeneration, which is something that a lot of people get after a certain age. Oh, somebody coming out of the elevator. Let's let these people get to their room before we continue. Okay, there we go. So they're very rich on amino acids, and they're also rich in vitamins A, B12, B2, B5, iron, phosphorus, selenium, and a whole long list that I don't want to go through again because they have so much. So eat them right. Eat them two to three times a week. You don't have to eat them every single day. And my advice, do not fry eggs, boil eggs like this. They look delicious in this avocado rye bread. I think this one is a rye bread. It actually looks like a pumpernickel. I'm not sure. I think it's a rye bread. But it's got some almonds, and I think they put some black pepper on it. Ooh, that just looks so delicious. Egg spotlight. Oh, this is where I'm actually going to put some delicious recipes that you can do with eggs. I'm going to put about 10 recipes of different things that you can do with eggs. But again, look at this avocado egg sandwich. It's just so delicious. Family favorite. Okay, if you have heard any of my webinars or any of my videos, you know that my favorite is banana oatmeal pancake. And I'm actually going to make a video in the next 15 days. I've got everything ready to put up together about Mateo making this recipe. So all you need to do is you put oatmeal, eggs, and banana. Now, if you're not an egg lover, just do oatmeal and banana. But you actually can make delicious dough for your pancakes or waffles from oatmeal and banana. Now, I like to have eggs because they'll be fluffier. And all you have to do is mix it all together and make your pancake. So this is what I call the no flour pancake. Kids love it. When I add 1 scoop of protein powder, vanilla flavor, but you can also add chocolate flavor. I've done them with both. And then you can actually add some berries, or you can add some seeds. I add chia seeds, I add quinoa, I add anything I have in my fridge. And so really, this is a family favorite. Teach your children to eat well in the morning. This is a family fun day. If you teach your children how to make these are just fantastic. I also make high protein peanut butter balls, which you can make with peanut butter and oatmeal. And again, just add some of the superfoods like chia seeds, flax seeds, sunflower seeds, and you can just roll them up and make a peanut butter ball. So again, same things that you can use for both things. Oatmeal. So that brings me to oatmeal. Oatmeal is so versatile as well. You can have your oatmeal in the morning, which is the mother of all breakfasts. You can have overnight oats. So actually you can just put the oats, put some no sugar yogurt. You can add a little bit of stevia if you want sugar, but I would prefer if you actually put some applesauce, unsweetened applesauce, and you can just mix it with some berries, put it in the fridge at night, and it's ready to eat in the morning. What an easy recipe. Overnight oats. One of my leaders, Jason, he taught me this when I had no idea about overnight oats. That's what they're called. But my mom does make a lot of oatmeal because we come from Colombia, from a region that they make a lot of oatmeal. It's called avena. They make it cold, they make it hot. I mean, they actually make it hot and they cool it with ice. It's just delicious when they blend it. So we have a lot of oatmeal at home. I always say if you're able to actually have oatmeal about 2 to 3 times a week, the other 2 can be egg and the other 2 can be green smoothies, your breakfasts are just going to be so full of everything you need, because that's how I was able and managed to lose the weight and keep it down, which was having a high protein breakfast, high fiber breakfast, and not getting hungry throughout the first 3 hours of the morning. Fish, very easy, less red meat and more fish. So unless you're already buying organic grass-fed beef, which, by the way, I'm going to actually attach a podcast that I heard on how a lot of the big farmers are not our enemies. That was a really great. It's not that you're not allowed to eat red meat. It's just that we shouldn't be eating the commercialized red meat that we have been eating for 20 years, but actually just buy it from grass-fed cattle. But going to fish, it's very important that you do the same. If you're just going to go to get some fish and you're going to get the cheap salmon or you're going to get the cheap fish, you're going to have a big issue, because what happens is that they're farming the fish the same way that what they were doing with cattle, so that's not going to work. So make sure that you buy fresh fish. And we have just so many options that I could just go on forever. And like I said, I have a jazz festival that is waiting for me. So I hope you've enjoyed tonight. I hope that you are feeling super with superfoods and super you. I could just keep talking about flaxseed and quinoa and maca root and ginseng and all the other things that you can actually have, but that can be for another day. Tonight, I'm just going to let you go. For those of you watching live on Facebook, thank you for the persons that attended live on my Zoom. I appreciate that you followed the directions, because by getting into the Zoom webinar, you're actually going to get notifications for the next one, which is Keto 101. A lot of people talk about ketosis and they don't really understand it, what it is, how to do it. So that's our next webinar. It's in 15 days. Just watch for the date, but if you already signed up on my Zoom, you're going to get the notifications and the reminders and some cool little messages about why to watch the Keto 101 webinar. So that's all for tonight. Thank you from me to Super You, and thank you again. I'm just going to actually tell you and show you my son Mateo. And so Mateo, this is my son Mateo. Can you say hi? And where are we tonight? Montreal. Were you excited to come to Montreal? He's being shy. Oh, I got another person coming off the elevator. So again, I love doing this for you guys, and I love holding webinars from any part of the world. We call it digital nomad, and it means I can do my business anywhere from my computer, my laptop, or not this kind. I don't like to do this one from my phone. I like to do this one from my laptop. But if you have an iPhone, or sorry, a phone, a cellular phone, and Wi-Fi, you can actually create a business for yourself where you're teaching and educating people on health and how to take care of themselves. So this is what I do, and I do it because I love you guys, and I want you to live long, live happy, and be with me as long as you can, because I love you all so much. So thank you for attending, and good night.